Devil's advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Crimes After Dark, Devil's Advocates and panel backstage. Can I get away from somebody backstage? Make sure I'm good on the sound. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Tonight, I'm excited to say we have the True Crime Cafe, Dago himself in the house. We're going to try to get him on more often as well. And we might not have, I don't think, Jason Estes from Estes Crime Maze tonight. He's got a rib injury. What do you say? Intercostal injury. But it's really, really bothering him really bad. And so tonight he may not be here, but we've got Dago, which is great. We've got a full panel with, we got Robin backstage. We got one. I think we're going to get Joe from State of the Deep as usual on here. Let me say a few minutes to do some welcomes to people real quick. Then I'll get into what our show's content and style is about, and then I'll bring up my panelists, and then we'll get going full steam. So I'm excited. It's a Saturday night. I love that we're starting out with more people behind stage before we even get started, which is exciting to watch that grow. Next year is going to be really, really fun. I can feel it. By the way, if I slur, it's not because I'm hammered on a Saturday night. I literally had a tooth extracted not too long ago on one side of my face, and then I beat the living piss out of I bit my tongue. I have my face is like out of commission. So if I slur some words, it's more because half my face is inoperable, as opposed to drinking any kind of drink. So I know that Friday night, sometimes I have a little extra, but not tonight. If I slur, it's because I bit the hell out of my tongue. All right, real quick, let's say hi to Essie Michaels, who made it into the show first. Amanda B, welcome to the show. We're going to do a lot with Amanda B. I've got big plans for her next year. So hopefully we can get some Okie Dokie Lisa in the house. I saw a name, by the way. I can't wait till I get to it later. Crime Spy 2024, regular. Welcome to the show. And as I've seen you many times here. So, and yes, I talk super fast. I had somebody tell me today, slow the hell down. Sorry, this is my style. I'm on full bore all the time. I may not be the creator for you if you get like ADD listening to, or you like, not ADD, whatever it is, that condition that you have when you start to get twitchy because I talk too fast and I make your anxiety speed up. That's just the way I am. It's not going to get any better. Pretty sure. Here for the truth now. Welcome, Daenerys Targaryen. Welcome as well, regulars to the show. I love seeing you guys come in all the time. Becca 1019, or Rochelle Fiscus. Welcome. That's a kind of newer name. Teresa 8793. Just getting some. Michelle F. Welcome as well, and she's a regular as well. Let's see what else. I saw a name down here that kind of excited me. I think it was like. Now the Troubled Ocean, by the way, Troubled Ocean, welcome to the show as well. Good to see you again. Tomboy, Charm, Last 24 on the mic. A lot of names that I've seen in here before, so it's cool seeing regulars that are hanging out with us like on a regular basis, which is super cool because we talk all the time. And SRB 9936, welcome as well. One of our favorite users on the channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll get that later. What else? Robin, of course, is backstage. We don't have to mention Robin, even though I saw her name pop up all over here because she's been saying hi to everybody. Seahawks fan 72. That's the name that was cool. Go Hawks, man. The Hawks are looking good heading into the end of the season. Playoffs are assured for them now. Now the question is seeding. So that's super exciting. The Seahawks have had a really big rebuild very quickly. So I'm super excited about that. But this is not a football channel, so we'll move past that. But good to see Seahawks fans in here. Even though I've got a Mariner hat and I'm not wearing I don't have a really cool Seahawks hat. I need to get a cool Seahawks hat. By the way, my wife the other day, it's kind of happening now. My wife was like, you need to pull back from the camera. Half your head's cut off. And it turned out my wife actually had her screen scrolled up. And so that it wasn't me. She literally had her screen scrolled up and she was cutting off half my face. And she felt stupid after coming in and interrupting my show to tell me half my face is cut off. And really it was just her not scrolling her. Anyways, one's in the house backstage. I'll introduce the panelists in a second. Tim Smith 5105, SRB 9936, and on and on and on. The Jeremy Pearson as well, regular. Love to see you here. Joy C. Carson. Anyways, I could go on and on. That's the bad thing about having so many people show up. Is Siggy, by the way, as well. Welcome. When you have this many people show up, I can't possibly say hi to everybody. And Dale Harrison is a newer name. I think Tim Smith 5105 is a newer name. Sparkly Starfish. I think I've seen Sparkly Starfish before. And Hey DA. So anyways, let's get going and bring up Kathleen Bell. I'm still looking for names that I haven't there's a lot of people here. Okay, enough. Let's start bringing our panelists up, and then I'll talk about the show's format as I bring our panelists up. First, let's bring Robin on stage, our assistant producer, co-producer, however we want to say it. It seems like we change your name on a regular basis. Robin, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. And welcome to DA's cavalcade cacophony of conversation. Jason wasn't here tonight.
You may not have the delivery down as good as Jason Estes, but it's an E for effort, so that's perfect. I love it. It was great. Anything going on in your world today that you want to cover from yesterday that I don't know about, or?
No, but I watched your videos today on Richard Allen, and I'm telling you what, that thing's ramping up big time again. Oh man, I can't. Wow.
I did 3 hours of Richard Allen. The first hour was published this morning and it was open to the public, but I did the second half of members only because I wasn't sure how it was going to go. My latest videos, by the way, just for those people who are trying to know, we're trying to move our channel in a slightly different direction because YouTube thinks I'm an Idaho 4 and Idaho 4 only guy. So when I talk about the other cases I follow, like Luigi Mangione or Mickey Steins or I got other people. Charlie Kirk, the Tyler Robinson shooting, all these other cases that I've been following for like the better part of a year. When I talk about them, my viewerships just die because YouTube thinks I'm an Idaho 4 and Idaho 4 only guy, which is not true, even though we usually spend about half of our show talking about Idaho 4 right now. However, we have some training to do on YouTube's algorithm. And so you're going to see some slight changes as we train YouTube to know that we are a true crime channel, not just an Idaho 4 channel. So maybe we'll explain that more in a little bit. But thank you, Robin, for watching those. And like I said, I'm trial ballooning to see if anybody's interested in hearing my opinions on Richard Allen, because I didn't cover it during the trial. Like I didn't even touch Delphi. But it wasn't until his attorneys filed an appeal for wrongful conviction. And then that caught my attention because I'm like, oh, I'm all about wrongful convictions. Let's take a look at what his attorney said. And oh my God, the things I did not know about that poor bastard's trial. Now, again, I say poor bastard. I don't know if he did or he didn't do it, but I tell you what, I have reasonable doubt for days on what I saw in the appeals that he didn't do that. Somebody else was a way better target, and they rambled guy, as we often do in this country. All right, so let's bring Dago up on screen. Even though I'm bringing people up on the order that they kind of presented backstage. So this isn't an order of preference or anything like that. It's just a matter of Dago was next in line, so we'll pull Dago up. Dago, how you doing tonight?
Hey, good to see you guys. Welcome to all the meatballs in the house. I see you all in here. Thank you guys for being here, and everybody else that's here as well. And thank you, Lee and Robin, for having me. It's an honor.
Absolutely. And I love it that you told your people where to find you so they can come over and say hi to our channel. And I'll try to make guest appearances on your channel if you will have me over there as well. And I think our communities are a perfect fit for each other. I think there's a lot of dovetailing between I'm sure you have some people who'll be like, DA, or why Dago, why are you going with DA? That guy's not your guy. I'm sure that's gonna
I'll be honest with you, Lee. Not one person has said that. They've all been all about this and excited when I said you guys are going to be seeing me, I think, a little more over at the Advocates household over there, and they were all about it. So you're in the right boat, bro. I promise.
Yeah, I think so. I think our channels are really suited for each other. So sometimes it's better to go with somebody who's outside of your wheelhouse so that you have your audience can see something different. And I think despite the fact that you and I are so similar, we're also different. So I think it's going to work out great. I think.
And I like with what you were saying with Delphi. Well, I can't wait to get into that with you because I was all over that the whole time. And oh my God, I can't wait to get into that with you. I'm just telling you.
I would love to talk about it tonight, in fact. So let's do that because I'm excited because you're right.
I'm going through the same thing you are, where I'm trying to retrain the algorithm in YouTube to understand that I'm not just an Idaho 4 channel because I have covered so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. So
retraining together we will retrain the algorithm.
Spank that algorithm into submission.
100%.
All right, let's bring up 1-1. I'm going to remove some graphics and stuff that your guys' lovely faces. 1-1 is our. I can't even sell all that 1-1 does. I keep calling him our resident law enforcement consultant, but that's underselling this guy's tools, right? So yes, 1-1, before you say anything, yes, he is 20 plus years NYPD, still active NYPD, but he cannot represent NYPD. So his opinions and his feelings are not representative of the New York Police Department. However, what a treat it is for a true crime show to have a regular, lieutenant. He's got big responsibilities, trains officers, so he knows the law. He knows how it works on the streets of the biggest city in the United States, biggest police department in the United States, maybe in the world. So yeah, when this guy and by the way, one last time, any of you mother effers out there tell me, come on, 1-1's not NYPD, you guys are a joke. I'm going to kick your ass if you keep saying that. That guy's NYPD, true blue with the blue jacket on.
That's right. Thank you for your service, brother.
Take it away. Uh-oh, your microphone's off. You're muted.
Tonight is lip reading, folks.
Yeah. We need to get that lip reading specialist.
Whoops,
yes,
there we go. There we go. Good evening, Dan. Thanks everyone for coming. Hello, Robin. Hi, Lee. Hi, Dago. Thanks for being part of us. We're excited for you.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So we got some interesting things to talk about later on. Some good points.
Absolutely.
Yes. I had to actually before I go into my normal routinely intro, real quick, I had to brush up on some facts from the Delphi case and what I mean, crazy with I saw your videos, crazy on all the appeal stuff, and just a crazy crime in general. I mean, just I'm sure we'll talk about it plenty, but
for sure.
All right, how does it feel to be alive in the den on a Saturday night?
I'm loving it. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to Devil's Advocates, the podcast where the questions are uncomfortable, the conversations are unapologetic, and no narrative gets a free pass. This is not the show that tells you what to think. This is the show that asks why you believe it. Here, we don't just follow the headlines, we interrogate them. We don't just repeat talking points, we dismantle them. And we don't accept case closed when the evidence still whispers unanswered questions. In a world driven by outrage clicks, viral sound bites, and instant verdicts, Devil's Advocates exist for one reason: to challenge certainty, to question consensus, to explore the uncomfortable middle ground where truth is often buried. Every case has a story, every story has multiple sides, and every side deserves to be examined, even the ones you're told not to look at. We'll dive deep into true crime, controversial cases, legal gray areas, investigative failures, and the moments where public opinion runs faster than the facts. We'll analyze timelines, we'll scrutinize evidence, we'll confront bias, including our own, because playing devil's advocate doesn't mean defending the indefensible. It means refusing to stop asking questions. So whether you're here to challenge your perspective, confirm your suspicions, or argue with us out loud from your car, your couch, or your headphones, you're in the right place. And if you're not down with questioning the narrative, if you're not ready to hear both sides, if you're not willing to think deeper than the headline, then we've got two words for you: Devil's Advocates. Let's get into it. And with that, live from New York, it's Saturday night.
I'm so jealous he gets to say that all the time. Live from New York is Saturday Night Live. What a great line. It's like one of the most classic lines in our country.
I love
Anyways, yeah, it's very cool that you get to do that. So thank you for the intro. So for those who are unfamiliar here, here's the way this is going to kind of work. One, I love to have people come up if you're willing to come join the panel and you want to ask questions about the panel and you have a little idea how that works. You just tell us how you feel, or a question maybe you have about, hey, what do you guys think about this rumor, this whatever. We do try to be a little careful on the rumors thing. I'm a big kind of receipts guy, so I like to focus on the receipts. In fact, somebody kind of busted my nuts about the other day when I said, I told you all, so hey, I want to mention something that is rumor, but it's based on a bunch of receipts. You remember that? And I gave you like, do you remember this receipt? Do you remember this receipt? Do you remember this receipt? But here's the rumor. And someone said, you know, you really should stay away from rumors. You're known for the receipts guy. And I'm like, yeah, but I did try to tell you, like, literally, I'm just going to talk about, like, there's a difference between my long form videos, which are much more focused on receipts, right? And our live show, which is let's talk about all the stuff that's being talked about there, including maybe some rumors and some weird shit that's in the wind and whatever. By the way, I don't know if you guys got to see my members only video that I did today on some stuff that I got back from Idaho 4's public records request from Pullman, Washington. I want to share that real quick. It's not public facing video. I wasn't sure how it would play. So in my request, so one thing you may know in the Idaho 4 case, I've got a public records campaign, a GoFundMe to try to submit public records requests. And I believe that they hid exculpatory information in that case. And that's part of the reason why we got that guilty verdict in the first place. But in the return from Pullman today, actually it was yesterday, I got an investigation that had Koberger's name on it from October of 2021, prior to the murders. And it kind of surprised me. I think I'd heard about it before because parts of it I remember hearing about. But the gist of it is this. In October of 2021, a year before the murders, somebody broke into a off-campus sorority girl's house in Pullman, Washington, on the campus with a ski mask and a knife, and came up to a girl while she was sleeping at around 3-something in the morning. And there was other females in the house. So it was a multi-story house of sorority girls that were sleeping, just like the Idaho 4 case. Somebody broke into the house with a knife and a ski mask through an unlocked or opened a door, just like the Idaho 4 case, approached one of the girls in her sleep. She saw him, she kicked him, and he ran away. That was investigated. And when it was not solved on who it was, they had a suspect. They had somebody that they believed what might have been done it. But Brian Koberger was later questioned. Could it have been Brian Koberger, because it has so many similarities to the Idaho 4 case? Somebody who broke into an off-campus sorority house full of girls in the middle of at 3 or 4 in the morning with a knife. Is this the same killer? Did he attempt to do it before, but now actually did it on this night? So they were looking for Brian Koberger as associated with it. They ultimately concluded Brian Koberger wasn't in Pullman, Washington, or this side of the state in that time. So they ruled him out. However, my $1 million question was, if you looked at the suspect they had in that case, years before, he had also done the same thing as breaking into a house with girls in it that were sleeping. So, this time, I don't think he had a knife. So it begins to wonder, was somebody progressing? Were they routinely breaking into sorority girls' houses, looking at girls sleeping? It started early by just early fascination, then developed to I'm going to bring a knife to the scene, but then I chickened out, and then turned to full-on murder. And so if that was the pattern that was happening, was that person ever investigated as a potential suspect in the Idaho 4 murders?
You talking about Cruz?
Yeah.
I think with Jose Cruz, right?
Jose Cruz,
Yes,
so,
that's him and his driver friend. Yes.
What did you think, Diego? Do you know a lot about that? It sounds like you know about that case.
I do. I looked into him. We just looked back into it last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, and he has a friend that would drive him around too. That was something, and I can't remember. I'm sorry. One of my mods would probably throw it in here, but there was something about the guy friend of his, that the car he drove or something that related to this situation that made it make sense. I'll put it that way. And I can't remember for the life of me because of everything we do, and I'm scatterbrained half the time.
But his DNA didn't match, right?
Right. That didn't match, but something else matched up somehow, somewhere. I can't remember what the hell it was, and it was wild.
Let me see.
I think they tested a cigarette. I think they tested a cigarette.
They followed him around,
right?
He was a little guy too, so that didn't matter.
He was
5'8", 5'7",
5'7", I think. Yeah.
Let me show you something. I'm going to try to show you something live. Doing it live.
I think it was the car kind of matched up somehow or something.
Yes. That's what I'm going to try to show you.
Let me guess. It was a white Elantra.
Well, okay, hold on. Bear with me.
And the cigarette butts were, Amanda, they were something there. They followed him around for a while.
All right. I'm going to try to put this on screen. So first of all, I'm going to try to put this on screen. Share screen and do this. And remove this and add this. So this was the kitchen knife. And it's funny, when I saw this picture, I'm like, is this a picture from Idaho 4 with the kitchen knife that was left on the counter kind of thing?
Right.
This was a crime scene photo from the break-in in October of 2021. That's the first thing that I thought was interesting. Now let me put one more picture up here on screen in a second. Let me find it before I put it on screen. It's not that one. Come on, not that one. Unfortunately, I'm not. Oh, I can do the thumbnail view so I can see what the hell I'm looking at. Hold on. Bear with me that we're doing it live, and when we do it live, I'm not fast.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh my gosh. Why am I not getting my thumbnails?
By the way, I hope everybody in here, including everybody up here with me, had an amazingly wonderful Christmas. I hope you all did. That's good to see.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Very nice Christmas. Hope you did.
All right, here's the other thing I was going to show you. This was a picture taken from the crime scene, and I thought, oh, look, it's a car that's similar to a white Elantra.
That's a Subaru.
This happens to be a Subaru. And I didn't read in the report why they took a picture of this car, but they took a picture of this car, and I went, here we go, another white car at a crime scene at 3 a.m. with somebody breaking in with a bunch of sorority girls with a ski mask and a knife. And I'm like, how do you ignore the similarities? Anyways, it's just it took me way too long to bring it up on screen, but I wanted to show that as well.
Well, too, Lee, that reminds me, wasn't there another, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I just want to make sure I'm processing this right. Wasn't there another supposed break-in in a sorority house in Idaho where they called police and somebody had seen somebody running through the house supposedly, but they never caught anybody when they went through the house? Wasn't there another one in a different sorority in Idaho?
Yeah,
there might have been.
I kind of remember that.
Okay.
I know that in this particular one that happened in Pullman, the guy did run through the house as well. They heard him running through the house and up the stairs and stuff like that. So there was that as well. But there may be another one as well.
That's why I'm saying I'm not 100% sure, but I thought it was in Idaho, not Pullman. So it would have been after, I believe, the October situation happened in Pullman. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I do it my channel. I tried to do it in my channel, and they were like, JP's fine, Dago. I'm like, okay, so it doesn't sound right when I do it, only when you do. But yeah, he said sorority, so yes, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
So it's just it was interesting, and like I said, I did that as a members only because I wasn't sure that it had enough teeth on it. However, it was funny because it was well received. A lot of people who watched that video on the members side said, "Holy crap, that's really interesting stuff." Mm-hmm. So should have done it.
It was interesting. And one thing I believe was interesting about that, if I remember correctly, was that the one girl, she actually kicked the guy.
Yeah,
it was like fighting him off.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking, okay, that's just one person. And so you got 4 people, but one super ninja dude came in there and killed all 4 of those kids. I mean, you know, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I want to pull another graphic up on screen, by the way. Not that graphic, that's not the one. How about this? How about that one? Jose Anibal Cruz, who was a person that was listed as potentially a guy that was watching the girls from next door. Mm-hmm. When the police investigated him, there were several problems with his story. His alibi had holes all through it. He had told them that he got off work at 2 a.m. It turned out he actually was off work at 2:20 in the morning instead. He had told them that he didn't go home. He went to a friend's house. They later on found out that his friend said, yeah, he left and was home before 3 o'clock in the morning, which would put him in time for the attacks and stuff like that. So there were several inconsistencies with his own, story that they thought this guy was suspicious. So it was interesting.
Right.
Lee, I got something for you to pull up.
Yeah.
I put it in the assets folder.
Okay.
I labeled it. I think I labeled it 1227. Yeah, there's there should be 3 pictures.
Okay. In the live assets folder?
Yeah.
And what trying to look for them. What are they called, or what are the dates? Let's see. Huh. Did you put them just at the root folder of live assets?
Yeah.
Idaho
yeah. No, it's in the root folder. I put it under. It should be under the date.
I don't see them, but you can put them up. You can click on it and actually place the image in the backstage for me, and I can show it on screen. You can click on the load image file and click on it and put it there. Because I don't see them.
Let me see if I can look real quick.
So yeah, but anyways, the bottom line was I love the fact. I mean, I've been putting so many videos out. I'm surprised that you guys have time to watch any of my videos. But
so if you go if you're in the root folder of the live assets, you see where it says like Luigi, Rex, Kirk, Steins, Idaho, slideshow.
Yeah.
There's a folder that says for today's show 1227.
Oh, okay.
And there's 3 pictures.
Okay.
And they all have to do with it was something that actually Phoenix brought up. Did put in a show yesterday, but I thought it was a good talking point just to go over.
So what order?
No, no. I mean, so this is referencing, I guess, like how from a document what they labeled. So this is second floor, west bedroom, door and plate on floor. So this just specifically it mentions west bedroom. You know, is it an actual plate on the floor, or are they talking about something else? But I mean, it's just a reference to it. But the other thing that's more important is the other two pictures, really.
Let's add that.
Yeah. So one is that's an overview of it, and then the other one is kind of a close up.
Okay, give me a second. I have to be careful about showing my screen because I haven't decluttered it from potential things that'll make everybody have nightmares and have to get therapy, and I don't want to do that.
So what we're looking at here, what we're focusing on, what does that look like to you?
It's like the door was kicked in.
I see it looks like a toilet in the back. Yeah, it looks like
so this is the door, and right. So where have we seen anywhere in any story or
that they had to break the door open?
If you look at that.
Now is that one of the thumps that one of the weirder thumps that we hear on 11
right
on 1112?
Did Kaylee lock herself in the bathroom and they broke the door? Yeah,
right. Because now we did hear. Now Dylan, maybe her, whether purposely or not purposely, whatever the issue is, she just say Kaylee went upstairs. She heard her crying in the bathroom or whatever. I've also heard different things. Kaylee knew someone was saying to hide, or I've heard all different things going on. Was she trying to hide in the bathroom? Did she lock the door in the bathroom? I mean, to me, that looks like a broken plate.
So let me that's
just
interesting. So
right.
The plate that you say was in that thing, maybe the plate for the door, what you're saying.
Yes.
It's not like a dinner plate, but the plate for the door.
Right. Right.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's interesting. At first I was starting to play devil's advocates because that's what I do, and say, well, how do we know that the door handle hadn't been busted for a really long time? You can't prove that was done that night, right? Because they could have been missing a door on that thing for months, right?
It's just interesting to look at.
Well, yeah, and you bring up an interesting point though. In the PCA, I was looking at this just again. They mention that you can hear from 1112 King Road residence next door a thud and a dog barking as part of their evidence to support Koberger leaving the house at 4:17 in the morning. And I find it funny because to this day, people are busting my nuts. DA, you're an idiot. You couldn't hear what's going on at 1122 King residence from that camera. And yet it's in the PCA. It's in the PCA that they literally heard a thud next door and a dog bark. So apparently the police think you can hear 1122 from that place, but I'm an idiot. Okay, so I get all pissed off about people.
Well, you should, because if you can hear, we've watched it, I don't know, about 3,000 times now. If you can hear the door across the street directly from 11,
right.
I think you can. Why
I think that's
pick up a stud? Come on.
I think that house is 1119, if I remember.
Yes, that's it.
Right, it is.
Right.
The one down at the end,
And I think it's I forget which creator it was. Someone, I don't know if it was whoever it was. Someone showed it was like a slight delay too in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You could hear that. You could hear them close the door, and that's way across. That's
way
further.
Across.
That's further away.
Yeah.
Right.
And one more time to beat a dead horse to death, because that's what I do. I just beat the shit out of a dead horse, and that is, again, what do you not hear between 4:07 in the morning and 4:17 when they say the murders are happening? No screams, nobody fighting back, none of that. What do you do here on those recordings of that same camera between 2:30 and 3 in the morning? Screams, horrific screams, fight, struggle, thumping and slamming around. You hear that, and yet I'm still the idiot. I'm still the idiot for saying you can't prove that came from the house before. Well, funny, because the PCA thinks we can hear a door thud and a dog bark next door, but I'm an idiot because I can hear screaming of people. 3 of the 4 people fighting back, defensive wounds all over the body. They would be screaming, but I'm still the idiot for saying you wouldn't hear them from that far away.
Since you brought that up, I want to point something out to you guys real quick that one of my moderators, she's amazing, pointed out the other day that I'm sure everybody's realized at this point, but we noticed, Lee, you've been there. Okay, you know how close together the 1122 property is as compared to 1330 Linda Lane or whatever the hell it is over there. That's within that fishbowl right there behind the Queen Apartments where we see that camera view, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Very close. It's like 50 yards from house to house. Okay.
Right.
So what amazed me, and I don't know how I didn't catch this. I love Lucy though. I do. And not that wasn't a pun. I know it was horrible.
I love Lucy.
I do.
Yeah.
She was like, you cannot hear if you listen to that 1330 audio at, like you said, between at 417 forward. Guess what you don't hear, you guys, is a dog barking.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no way that you couldn't hear that dog barking. Even it would nothing. There's no sound at all. So that tells you right there, at least me.
Yeah.
The manipulation is real, folks. The manipulation is real.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand why it is
Sorry.
that logical people can't see that. Like there needs to be a lot more logical people in the world. They can't possibly see that there's a problem with this. You are so blinded by mainstream narratives that you can't see what's right in front of your face.
Yes.
That those sounds are not consistent with 3 people or 4 people being murdered next door to that camera, but you still think you can hear a thud against a wall. You can clearly hear a thud against the wall, but you're excuse away 3 people fighting for their lives, or 4 people. I say 3 because again, one person, we know that 3 had defensive wounds. So 3 had to be awake. You might be able to argue one of them was sleeping. But again, remember the official bullshit story was they were all sleeping. That's why it could happen so quickly, because they were all asleep. In fact, we kept getting told over and they were all completely hammered and drunk and sleeping. So therefore, that's why it happened that fast. And then slowly it came out, okay, maybe they weren't all drunk. Okay, maybe they weren't all asleep. Okay, maybe they were fighting back. Okay, maybe they fought like a tiger. Maybe they fought like hell. Maybe they had a whole bunch of defensive, like it just kept getting worse and worse. When the official story at the beginning was they were all dead asleep, and that's why it happened that way so fast. But
I absolutely agree with you. Everything that they have told us, the truth has come out, and it's the exact opposition to everything. Exact.
It's nuts. It's nuts to me, which is why we're still pissing and moaning about this case well after it's over. Because again, it takes time sometimes for these things to be overturned. And will it get overturned? We don't know. But here's the thing, by the way, for those who don't know, I did get an official response back from the Idaho's Attorney General. I had asked them to open up a criminal investigation into this case. They have denied to do so. They denied to do so, however, not because there's not merit to the case, but because they don't have jurisdiction. And here's what their argument was. The Idaho Attorney General must only investigate elected officials. Moscow Police Department is not an elected official. So they would have to investigate someone like the sheriff, for example, who's an elected sheriff position or something like that. So they basically told me to either rewrite my complaint and make a complaint against the sheriff, in which case maybe they can investigate a sheriff, or they said, take it up with Bill Thompson and have Bill Thompson look into Moscow Police Department. Well, that's obviously a non-starter since Bill Thompson's part of the potential problem. So the next step after that is, if you want to take further action, it's to go to the Department of Justice. Department of Justice, as a possible civil liberties violation of a fair trial, of somebody's 14th Amendment right to a fair trial. And that's where it goes next. And that's where we're going next. But anyways. But it is what it is. We knew we would have to play the game a little bit, and it is what it is. It was a nicely crafted letter. They were polite by saying, hey, look, we're not going to do anything about this because it falls outside of our jurisdiction. And maybe that's correct, and maybe we wasted our time. But we started the process, and we will continue to move the process to where it belongs, which is, I guess, with the Department of Justice. And so I'm going to recraft the letter so that the Department of... Yeah, great. That's great. And I think...
it's not a waste of time.
Here's the problem. I don't know how you feel about this. I want Dago's opinion on this as well. I want all of your opinions, not just Dago's, but Dago's not on here all the time. I don't know how you feel about, or how much you know about, the Luigi Mangione case, but Pam Bondi, as the U.S. Attorney General, did what I believe and his attorney believes is an unprecedented move by going on national TV and telling everyone in America that Luigi Mangione murdered Brian Thompson in cold blood. And if there was ever a person that should be executed for this crime, it's Luigi Mangione. If there's ever a clear case of cold-blooded murder, it's Luigi Mangione. This was complete violation. She, as the Attorney General, she never should have said that shit from a public pulpit, and then directed the New York to execute Luigi Mangione after prejudicing the entire nation by saying, look, he's a murderer and you need to go after him. That should have never happened. Now, here's where I'm going with all of that. That is that is the Department of Justice. When we filed a letter saying you need to look into Brian Koberger's case because it was unfair, Pam Bondi is in charge of the Department of Justice. Has she already shown the integrity that she's likely to look into a case with open and fresh eyes? Or is she going to be like, if anyone is ever guilty of a crime, it's that motherfucker, Koberger. Of course he did it.
What does that remind you of, Lee? What does that remind you of?
I don't know. Refresh my memory. What does it
reminds me of a judge by the name of Hitler doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Exact same thing in a different circumstance, but same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
so it begs the question: Do you go ahead and file it with Pam Bondi when you already have reason to believe Pam Bondi doesn't give a shit about presumption of innocence? She already believes people are guilty before they even step in. I mean, that's what she's shown. She's the kind of person that's ready to convict somebody before they even go to trial. Is she going to be the person that's going to champion wrongful convictions?
Nope.
So do you wait? Do you wait until the administration changes and Pam Bondi's out of office? Or what if there's a possibility that somebody else just keeps Pam Bondi in that office when they take office? Like, what do you do?
I think that one could probably attest to this, being a police officer and knowing that police officers have always stated, make sure you file a report, that way it's on file. Okay. So in turn, in every circumstance, that way, if it happens again, it's already on file. This is what I've always known.
That's what we're going to do. Right.
Yes. If we file this and we do what we do, it's already been done. So if it comes back around and we get the chance to go back at it, it's already been there. It's already there. And they're going to see the fact that it was ignored. That makes it stronger, in my opinion, it's second time around. And if it happens,
100% with you on that. File it now. And if they ignore it, wait for the next administration and remind them this administration had a habit of looking the other way. So somebody had a question for one, because they're an NYPD officer. Can we get that question up? Is there a follow-on question?
Well, I also see this guy too is also.
I was just wondering why an active NYPD officer is creating clip TikTok channels and YouTube channels in the name of surviving roommates who has not been charged in these crimes. Wow. I believe
you have to work in Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it, with that said, if I don't know if you're new to this channel or what we do here, we challenge all narratives. So unless something is definitively proof, blood DNA, we have definitive stuff that has receipts that we can account for. So under no circumstance have I ever said, "Oh, I think Dylan is a killer. Oh, I think Bethany is a killer." That has never come out of my mouth. What has come out of my mouth is that Dylan has lied, and she has lied. Just watch, before you want to make comments, watch her interviews. I have 20 years plus of experience, and I could tell you without question, why there was not certain follow-up as well. I don't claim to be better than any other law enforcement person, although I don't know the experience or whatnot. That's left to the imagination at some of these first interviews that we watched. I mean, I've said numerous times, because I have a certain perspective or what I would do, that doesn't mean that is the answer for every case. And I can just tell you what I feel, what I would do, what I would going to the scene. If I was on scene, one of those first officers, Hunter Johnson, should have been placed in handcuffs, not under arrest. He should have been placed in handcuffs.
Damn.
Under no circumstance. I don't. There are different. Sometimes there could be 12 different ways to get to the end road, to get to the goal line, the final path. This is true. However, one of the paramount things of law enforcement is safety above anything else. I don't see any training that anyone would get where you would allow someone with a knife to lead you around a house. You don't know this person, so you got that. And then obviously back to Dylan and Bethany. I mean, they've been suspect from the very beginning, and then when we actually got to hear their interviews and see them on body camera, some of the redactions and whatever, they're clearly all over the place. And the fact that the 8, 9, 10 hour delay, that is not a common trait of usual behavior. So people will always say the argument, the devil's advocate approach to that. Well, no two people are going to act the same. And I would agree with you in that myself, as well as I know Dago has extensive experience in with his prior job and field with, I'm sure he's seen plenty of people, hurt and homicides and all that. He could tell you himself how we handle seeing a dead body or someone hurt might be different than you and how we react.
Absolutely.
However,
Go ahead. I wanted to back you up a little bit because I have somebody that's very deep in my community as well. Senor Wazowski, he's in here tonight as well. Is a retired Baltimore City police officer that has done exactly some of the same things and said the same things you have, that is going against the grain, that is firing away at the establishment right now as a retired officer. So I can't understand anybody saying a police officer wouldn't do this. This man did doing the same things. So there you go.
Real quick, I have to address something because somebody's asked if Robin something. I kicked that person out of this room. I told you at the beginning of the show, I will not stand this bullshit of people calling one a liar that he's not a cop. And you fucking did it again. I just told you don't do that shit to my fucking guests. He's NYPD. I 100% convinced you is. And you just said he's a liar. He's not NYPD. You're fucking gone. And so I will not stand that shit. I don't know what I have to do. I don't know what I have to do, but we will not tolerate that bullshit. So yeah, I bounced that person.
Why does anybody have the right to call that, Lee? That's my problem with it too. You don't have the right to call that out. You don't know this person.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not putting up with that shit. I know for a fact he's NYPD. So you guys can all piss off if you're gonna. I can't believe this is even happening. Why are people coming on my show attacking one saying he's not a cop? You guys can all just take that shit somewhere else. So, anyways,
there you go.
Sorry for the rant. I'm taking that shit
okay.
personally. I'm getting tired of that. It's really frustrating to me on a personal level. Like I had the same thing happen one time. I had an attorney on my show, and someone said, "I just looked you up, and I can't find your bar number. You're not an attorney." And I'm like, fuck off. Like literally I've looked up this person's history. They're on Wikipedia. You can see their whole history and everything they've done. It's not a secret. So I'm sorry that you have shitty detective skills, but they are a person. Get the fuck off my channel. Like
it must
don't
have
come
been
in here and call people out.
Must have been an angry security guard. They couldn't make it past the test, so now they're mad at one.
I can't believe how mad I get about that stuff. I get it. I get it. You don't call somebody out of their name or out of their. If they claim what they claim, it's been done to me as a firefighter and a first responder. And once it was proven, then everybody tightens up and you don't hear from them again. So yeah, grow up, people, grow up. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I will let that go.
There's the gentleman right there that I was talking about. Senor Wazowski. Yes.
Wazowski.
Retired Baltimore City police officer. Again, I thank him for his service as I do 1-1. So go ahead and call him out because he'll tell you exactly where to go and how to get there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So what else do we let's try to we need to compose ourselves. All right.
Gotta love it.
Let's talk a
we
little
all
bit.
We all need a drink.
Yeah, we all need. I need a drink before this show.
I gotta go get my wine.
Let's talk a little bit, Diego.
A shot of my coffee.
While you're here, Diego, let's talk a little bit about the fact that I'm really late. I'm really late to the Delphi case.
Sure.
I'm going to preface a couple things, and then I want you to tell me because you've been at the Delphi case much longer, right? So let me tell you where I came at it. First of all, I didn't start the YouTube channel until after he was convicted of this crime, right? And so, and people told me, you need to relook at this, this case isn't over. And I'm like, well, again, kind of like I did with the Koberger case, at the point that they get convicted, there's not much left you can do. So I just kind of like, well, I'm way too late to the game. I didn't follow it. So I will tell you this, I watched plenty of they showed some of those interrogations with him in the interrogation room, and he felt genuine to me when I watched it, saying, I don't know why I don't know why you're saying this happened. It wasn't me. I can't explain why there's a bullet there, but it's not my bullet. I'll tell you that. And he looked genuine to me. But then to my surprise,
he feels genuine. He vibes. I don't. If anybody gets that, I don't know how to explain it, but he came in off his own volition to help, and they locked him down right away. He vibes genuine. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
Right. And so, and the other mistake that I made in the case was when I heard that that he was being maybe roughed up, or he was under the supervision of guards who were literally part of this Odin kind of thing. I thought to myself, there's no way that's real. Like that can't be real, right? That's what I thought. They can't be real.
It is.
Now I looked at the appeal, and oh my God, I didn't know that investigators were looking into that to the Odinist clan from day one, that the FBI came in and said that they believed that there was evidence that it was a ritualistic, Norse kind of ritual. And I was like, oh my God, like I never took it seriously, but I should have.
Yeah.
So,
well, one of the first 3 officers that stuck to the Odinism thing in the beginning was murdered, Lee. Murdered.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, right in front of the
Wow.
courthouse, he was shot to death. Okay.
By who?
That's insane.
A CO. It was it used to be a prison guard. He was murdered by this guy. Shot to death right there, coming out of the courthouse or whatever the hell it was. I can't remember exactly. Don't give me, I'll get the details for you, but he's dead.
Oh my God.
There were 3 original officers that stuck to the Odinism theory and kept going with it. And I can't think of his name, and shame on me for that. It's been a minute since I've been in it, but yeah, he was shot and killed 100%.
Wow. Thank, by the way, for the Michelle Rowe who gave us a gift tonight. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you for pinning that too, Robin, so I didn't miss it. I appreciate that very much. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. When people start dying in cases, and in what you're talking about, being shot on the steps of a courthouse or something like that, come on. Like, how do you...
Just so you know, one of the CEOs in the, I can't think of the place it was, that Alan was being held and I believe tortured, of course. The man he had patches on his uniform. Now, guys, I have a brother-in-law that's a prison guard. He's not allowed to have facial hair, let alone a patch that says Odinism or Hail to Odin or whatever the hell it said on it. And when they told him to remove it, when they told the man to remove it, he went and got a tattoo on his face that had the same damn thing on it. What?
Oh my God.
Like, what planet do we live on?
Dude, and
Wow.
and from what I understand, 2 of the really, really good, it looked that way to me. Like, now again, I didn't follow it, but 2 of the really, Brad Holder and his friend. They literally came in. One of the guys came in wearing a pendant that was part of the Odin Norse thing, said that he was a leader of the community of this pagan group. There was witnesses saying that they had a fight over the fact that he wanted to up the ante from animal sacrifices that they were doing to make it a bigger sacrifice. Like, all of that shit, I would have said that can't be really happening. It was really happening.
Absolutely happened, yes. Greg Ferenczi, that's it. Officer Greg Ferenczi was the one that was murdered. And that happened when Alan was in Westville. Thank you for that.
Patrick Westfall was the other. So Brad, I think it was Brad Holden and Patrick Westfall were both in the early stages of the investigation with crazy connections. Right, Holden's son was dating one of the victims, or at least had. I don't know if dating is the right word, but
Brad Holder's son was dating
Abby.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a minute. So I'll back it up. I have it all in my brain. I just have to get. And Patrick Westfall, yes, very much involved. And there's quite a few more people, Lee. Quite a few more people. No lie.
It's insane. It's insane that I missed the boat on it, because, like I said, all I saw was some of the tapes, some of the the whole. I didn't do this. I don't know why they're saying they did this. I heard the infamous call that they recorded, supposedly with him and his wife, saying, I did it. I killed those girls. I'm sorry, kind of thing. And I thought, funny, because when you read the appeal, he in the same conversation said, I guess I did. I killed those girls, or at least I guess I did. Like, but of course, the part that they play for America is I killed those girls, not any kind of questions about whether I did, or maybe later on going, did I actually confess to my wife? Like, did I say that? Because I don't remember saying that. Like the guy's literally got some mental problems going on from the treatment that he had in solitary confinement.
Yes.
But yet, of course, they take the moment and say that he was completely lucid and of sane mind when he said, I did it. And that's what they used to convict in 130 years in prison. And
take that into effect and say that's what happened. But also envision this, sir, that he's standing there talking to his mother with a guard on this side and a guard on this side saying, you make sure you tell her the truth here now, Richard. Thank you. And because every time the man would see his attorney, the first thing he would ask is, my family okay? Is my daughter okay? Is my wife okay? Is this okay? Is that okay? Every damn time. Because I'm telling you, I wasn't there. I don't know. But I would bet everything I owned that the man was threatened daily. He was abused. We know that already. There was an inmate. Now tell me something here. An inmate in the same prison that went and wrote a letter and said, this is going on, that's going on, this is going on, that's going on. What would somebody that's in prison already have to gain from coming out and telling the truth about these things other than absolute horrific attention that he could get from the other guards? They would beat the hell out of him. They would ruin him.
Yeah.
So he's not going to gain anything from this, right? So he did that. He absolutely wrote a letter and said that Richard Allen was being tormented, starved, this, that, everything else, abused day after day after day. There's nothing to gain from this except horrible attention. And he did it anyway. So.
And I just don't understand. Like this is, I know. Oh, sorry, one. I know you want to.
I just had a quick question because I'm trying to. I started watching some documentaries and stuff on the case to brush up on all of it. So I know you said you did deep analysis into this case already. So the video, what was it that Libby had on her phone? Like she made like
of the bridge guy.
Oh, the bridge guy.
Now. I know Richard said he was there. Did they ever? I didn't get to the part. Did they ever was there a confirmation? Did he say that was him in the bridge, or it's not him, or like
Richard Allen? Richard Allen is 5'6". Okay.
Okay.
Bridge
so he said he was there, right? But not. But that's not him.
In the area
Day. He was in the area. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He never said anything about the bridge, but Richard Allen is a little dude, 5'6". The guy on the bridge, and I'll tell you straight out of the gate who I think it's Ron Logan. I'll just tell you that now, right up front. But the guy on the bridge is 5'10", between 5'10" and 5'6". There's no way in hell that it's Richard Allen. Not even close.
Okay. Right.
And the voice, if you listen to the voice, first of all, I think those are two different tracks, but the voice, I do believe, sounds to me like Logan as well, as looking at him, the walk and everything. That's who I think it is. So,
and there was trickery done with it as well. For example, as they pointed out in the appeal, not one eyewitness said they saw Richard Allen there. They said they saw the guy that was in the bridge video there, but they didn't say that was Richard Allen. They didn't make the connection between the two. In fact, the eyewitness who gave the description of what the guy looks like had him as a 20-year-old with poofy brown hair. Complete does not fit the description of him. And then later on changed their story. Somebody said that they saw him in a tan coat that was muddy.
Right.
By the time trial came around, it turned into a blue coat that was muddy and had blood on it. The whole thing was just ramrodded. It was ridiculous.
In that secondary picture of the younger guy with the curly hair that they showed, they didn't even release that for years. They had that buried for some reason. And then all of a sudden, poof, there's this picture. And it's like, well, where was that at? Right along with everything else, it was buried. Okay. Buried on purpose, in my opinion.
And this person's question, I want to handle this carefully.
I don't highlight that.
I don't want to attack this person. I want to use it as an example. People who have the attitude, well, if he wasn't guilty, then how'd they convict him? This is the part that I think people don't understand of how bad and broken our system is.
I can give an answer.
They force confessions. They get people to change their testimony to corroborate the story that they want to do, which is what happened. It's exactly what we're talking about. Somebody that came in and said 10 out of 10, he looks like this guy with poofy brown hair, 20-year-old, and then later on changes their opinion. After multiple times saying 10 out of 10, that is a perfect picture. That's exactly what that guy looked like. Richard Allen looks nothing like it. Oh, he was wearing a tan coat. Okay, later on, I'll say he's wearing a blue coat. Changing testimony to get the conviction. It happens all the time. So again, I'm not meaning to attack you, but the attitude people have of, well, if he wasn't guilty, then how'd they convict him? You need to read books like John Grisham's The book called Framed to see how people convict people who had nothing to do with the crime. Read that book. Read the first case. Just read the first case and watch them put 7 people in jail for a crime they had absolutely nothing to do, while the real killer walked free. And eventually, I'll give you the spoiler, the detective who put all those people in jail ends up going to jail himself. But it happens all the time. It's just an example.
For bribery, right?
Take into effect. Sorry, one. Take into effect. Richard Allen worked for CBS forever, okay? From when the crime was committed until he was arrested for the crime, okay? That picture, the original picture, not the younger one, but the other picture, was posted all over the city of Delphi. Inside bars that Richard hung out in, inside grocery stores, gas stations, CVS's, Walmarts, whatever the hell you want to call it. It was everywhere. And you're going to tell me that for 6 years, people walked around and got their prescriptions filled or seen this man at the CVS and never said, that, hey, that's you. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
And so Panda Hug had a follow-up question, and it does look like they're doing it in the right frame. They're respectfully asking questions. Hey, look, I don't know the case. I just want to know how the jury got tipped to convict. How the jury got tipped to convict is because they got a confession from him in the prison. And that's, again, the part that people a lot of times don't understand. Well, if he said he did it, then he did it. You don't understand how false confessions happen. That guy's brain was broke, and he was threatened. He was intimidated. Watch what the appeal says. What happened to Richard Allen in prison was ridiculous. And they completely ignored the fact that Richard Allen was eating his own feces, was interacting and talking to things that weren't there, that were swinging his fists at things that aren't there in the air, saying that he's God, saying that he's on an airplane, asking for mommy and daddy. All kinds of shit was going on. They didn't tell any of that shit to the jury. They said, hey, during a lucid moment, he told people that he did the killing.
And he was also being fed medication that he had no idea what he was being fed, and he was not literally under a doctor's care as per se you should be, okay? That was happening as well. Not to mention, the biggest part of this, you guys, that you'll see at some point when you look into it, and I'm sorry, but I get excited over this because there's so much wrong with it, was that Judge Gall, the judge that oversaw the entire case, only allowed a quarter of the information that the jury should have seen to be allowed in court. A quarter out of 100%, 25% of that, she only allowed that much to be seen. They missed so much other stuff. So there's that as well.
I'm going to put that book on screen.
We got a picture. Lee has a picture of it. There it is.
That's the book. You should read that book. It is
excellent.
It should terrify you watching, because what should terrify you is to realize that every case that they're talking about this is something you can see happening in any place in America. It's a system of systemic flaws in our system, that this can be repeated over and over and over again. There's a really scary one. If you get past chapter 1, and you only need chapter 1 to be convinced that we've got a problem in this country. There's another one where a medical examiner had done ungodly numbers of convictions because of his expert testimony, because he was super good on the stand. He could talk in really big words. He was charismatic and connect with the jury, and he repeatedly convinced people that he absolutely has 100% proof that this person did this murder, and there's no question whatsoever. There is no doubt it was anybody but them, and they convicted people over and over and over again because he was really good at talking, knew how to use really big words, and it turns out that guy was full of shit. But everything about that guy was full of shit. So read that. It'll scare the piss out of you. How many people are convinced by expert testimony because you're good, you're charismatic, and you know how to use big words? And when you baffle a jury with science, you're like, well, it sounds like it's good, so must be true.
Right.
Have
you ever taken Haldol? Anybody up here ever taken Haldol?
I have not, no.
Okay. No. So if you've never taken a medication that's that strong, okay, I'm pretty sure that I could take that myself. I'm a bigger guy. And I would probably confess to JFK's assassination on that medication. I'll just tell you right now, the man was on medication, strong amounts of medication. In turn, had no idea who the hell he was, guys. I'm telling you. And he was being locked down. You're only supposed to be, I had the statistics, but you're only supposed to be put into what you call the hole, whatever you want to call that.
Salt,
for short periods of time, because mentally, you'll detach, and the man was locked down for a long period of time in that sense. So understand that as well. Not
only that, Dago, but in particular, coming into I think it was WCU was the how they referred to it in the appeal, that I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but it was a correctional unit or whatever. That was the hole, the shoe, whatever you want to, in solitary confinement. He had been diagnosed. He had been diagnosed with depression. What was the massive depression disorder? It wasn't massive, but major depressive disorder.
Major depressive
disorder. Their own policies say you cannot keep someone in solitary confinement that has major depressive disorder for more than 30 days.
Yep.
They kept them in there for 13 months, a year and a month. They kept him in the hole in solitary confinement for a guy who was already diagnosed with major depressive disorder. That would break normal people, much less somebody who already suffers with depression, given Haldol, all kinds of things.
They
that
left
they
the
did to
lights
guy.
on 24/7. I seen that's true. That's in chat too. For that period of time, there was no darkness. It was nothing but that nonstop. He couldn't rest. His mind couldn't rest.
Yeah. And, as someone, I'm bipolar, and so I'm on meds for that. And when, Dago, you're talking about him, Rick not being on any kind or having a doctor. So no one was prescribing him anything. And when you suddenly take away a person's medication, believe me, I know if I have missed a dose. So I can't even imagine
Right.
being stuck in a hole and not having my meds that I rely on every single day.
For a
I
year.
mean, you're talking, seizures and hallucinations. I mean, it's just
A year, Robin. A year. This man
I
was
know.
locked in this area with absolute horrific situational stuff.
Let me address
just
this issue. It's
horrendous.
a question that somebody asked, and I'm gonna read it the way I hear it in my mind. So he was in prison before being convicted.
He was
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. One of the problems I have really with our system fundamentally is we believe in the presumption of innocence. The presumption. You are to be granted the presumption of innocence, but in certain circumstances, in a lot of circumstances, a person is allowed to be held in detention, treated essentially as if they've already committed the crime that they're presumed to be innocent of.
Yes.
It's a flaw in our system in the first place. But even worse with this individual is normally he would be in a lower level detention center. For example, in Idaho 4, Brian Koberger was kept in a lower detention center. He wasn't moved to CUNA, his multiple maximum security thing, until after he was convicted. He's not supposed to be in the major
county jail.
heavy security place. But
Right.
they took Richard Allen extremely early in the document, the appeal. They said they've never seen it ever happen this way before. They moved him from a low level security into the hole, into one of the worst systems in the thing, which is designed for punishment of criminals, not for holding somebody temporarily while they're waiting for their trial. No, it was they were already putting him someplace to be punished for a crime he's presumed to be innocent of.
You go, when you get arrested for a crime, you go to county jail. We'll just say that locally here.
Right.
Okay. They took him to his first hearing. They sent him to prison, period. End of story. And they said it was for his own protection. I'm calling bullshit. But they sent him directly to prison, folks. No $200. No pass go. No, none of that bullshit. He went directly to prison. I've never seen that in my life ever.
Yeah. He should have essentially gone to a jail facility and he went
That's
to a
it.
prison facility. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I hate to say the words. Here's the thing that's, morals come into this, right? Here's the problem, right? If Richard Allen did do it, there's a good number of people who will say this: I don't give a shit what happened to him in prison. Fuck that guy. He should rot in hell. I hope he got tortured every day. I hope they kicked the shit out of him. I hope they made his life living hell. I hope they did break his mind, because he's a child killer and a murderer, and that's what he deserves. There's a lot of people who feel that way.
Sure.
And I don't know how to really address that. Like,
well, they have less proof in this case that this man committed this crime against these two young girls than they have in the Idaho case. I'll tell you right now. All they had was a bullet. That's it. A bullet that matched his gun.
and wasn't used
Everybody in America owns the same gun almost. And it wasn't even discharged through the barrel, folks. It was just, they said it was loaded and unloaded. That's it. Racked and unracked.
An unspent round, round that was, and not only that, Dago, sorry that my panelists who I'm here, I'm going all riffing on Dago back and forth, and you guys are all sitting in the wings here.
I mean,
but
you threw me out.
Not only that, but during his confession at one point, Richard Allen said he shot the girls.
Yes.
The girls were not shot.
Never.
He literally confessed to a crime that didn't happen. He never shot anybody. No one shot the girls. But he said, I shot the girls. But you know what they didn't do? They don't tell the jury he said he shot the girls, because they'd be like, well, wait a minute. Did he really do the crime? Because he's saying he shot him and he didn't shoot him. No, they only gave the parts that would fit what the actual crime was, not the part where he gave like, hey, I shot the girls and then I cut them with the knife. They're like, okay, we're just going to go with the cut them with the knife part because the girls didn't get shot. So we're not going to tell the jury you said you shot them, because that didn't happen.
Right. It's exactly 100% what it is. Anything they could use, just like in Idaho, to convict this man, they absolutely did. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And,
none
On
of
the one hand,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well,
No, go ahead.
I guess is one still there? I see. I don't know. For a minute, I thought you were
I'm here.
frozen because one.
No,
So
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm going to ask you a really difficult question. A really difficult question.
Uh-oh.
On the one hand, our system is designed to do this. Law enforcement finds a suspect, they arrest the suspect, and then the prosecution's job is to prove that that suspect was the right person they got and convict them, right? The defense, likewise, is to say, we need to prove whether or not the person did or didn't do it. And it's the jury's decision, the jury's job to determine which one of them is correct. And where I'm going with this is, this whole idea of they just tell the parts, they only tell the parts that lead to a conviction. One could argue that's exactly what the system is designed to do. The prosecution's job with law enforcement is to make their best case, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's to make their best case on why they got the right guy. So if they just happen to not tell people, that makes their case look weak. You could argue that's their job, to give their best case. And it's not their job to give any kind of thing that weakens their case. It's the defense's job to do the stuff that weakens the case. And it's the jury's job to decide which one of them is telling the truth. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is there any part that we say it's okay for them to leave stuff out that might lead to reasonable doubt and leave stuff out that convicts, because their job is to present their best case, and it doesn't help their case to say that there might be other explanations?
No, I mean, it should be full discovery, full transparency. The evidence is the evidence. I mean, the problem, and you've said it before, and I'm not a detective, but I can tell you from people I know and what I've seen go on with certain stuff is, unfortunately, just like you're saying, the way that the system is designed, the detectives get narrow-minded. They get set into this, this one suspect, and then everything has to fit around that one suspect. So it really comes down to someone has to have the utmost integrity to come forward and to say, because they want to close whatever this case, and then now think about a possible case that might have some kind of news momentum or national momentum, whatever it is, and they're on the spotlight, and they want to make everything to that that narrows down. Suspect vehicle 1. Oh, it's there it is. It's his white Elantra. His white Elantra's here. His white Elantra's there. Not getting away from the fact that I'm sure Bill Thompson, and I bet you anything, Bill Thompson and whoever else, I would put money on it. They know that Kohberger doesn't have fog lights on his car. They know that, but they still pushed it, right, to get use this to get the PCA. It's the ends don't justify the means. It really comes down to the individual. If you want to prosecute the case, but it's the jury. They really have to hear all the evidence, and unfortunately, like you're saying, it's like, well, just to put it bluntly, I heard them say it on your show, the custody queens. They said when you're in trial, it's like playing a game. You have to be better at the game.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
That's what it is.
Let me break down the fog lights as an example of how I think it should work. Right? Okay. So police make an arrest, and they use words like a vehicle was seen that is consistent with. That's the favorite word they use, consistent with, right? It's not saying it is Brian Kohberger's car. They see a car that's consistent with the vehicle that Brian Kohberger uses. And like you said, maybe at some point they found out, well, shit, this car has fog lights and Koberger's car doesn't have fog lights. They're still allowed to say the reason we made the arrest is because we saw a car that was consistent with the description given by Brian Koberger. But they might know, for example, that it didn't have fog lights at some point. But they would argue it's not our job to tell the defense that part. They better find that out themselves. So they just go, okay, look, we're just going to not mention to the defense that we already know there's a glaring hole in this whole thing. It's just consistent. But if they look hard enough, they're going to see that car had fog lights. But that's not our job to tell them that. And that's their attitude. It's not our job to tell the defense that. That's the defense's job. But the problem becomes is when the defense catches it, if the prosecution makes steps to say, you're not allowed to tell the jury that you found out the car didn't have fog lights, we're going to keep you from saying that, telling the jury that becomes a major fucking problem.
Yes.
Because at the point that they did discover it and someone says, nope, you're not allowed to tell a jury that, there's some little technicality we're going to use that you're not going to be allowed to tell the jury that you know that it damn well the car didn't have fog lights. That becomes the problem. And that's a lot what happened in the Koberger case, was things that they found they weren't allowed to tell the jury about.
Or to double down on that, or having a judge that's not allowing certain experts to give their opinion. I've never heard. I mean, maybe Dago, maybe you guys, maybe I haven't heard ever in any case. I mean, I know there's some wacky, wild judges out there that have been off the wall, make some radical decisions. I have never heard of really a judge throwing out an expert witness in a field at the caliber that Cy Ray is in his field. I've never seen it.
No.
It's insane.
Never.
It's insane. Yeah.
Or a judge holding the hand of one of the prosecutors.
I think Dago, you're muted if you were trying to say something.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robin. What you're saying anyway, please.
No. Go ahead. I didn't mean to jump.
No, you didn't at all. It was my fault. The only other thing I've ever seen that's remotely close to that is in the Delphi case. She would not allow, this woman should be behind bars, I'm sorry. She would not allow a third-party defense. She would not allow you to speak the word Odinism in her courtroom or you'd have been tossed and held in contempt. She would not allow anything in regards to anything like that at all. Not even close. Not even
close. Do you remember an allegation? I heard this. I don't know the details, Dago, so maybe you do. Didn't that judge dismiss his attorneys and replace the attorneys for his defense with somebody that she knew?
Yes, she blackmailed Rosie and Baldwin, his attorneys, the defense team, into recusing themselves. Okay, they walked into the courtroom that day. I'll still never forget this. She already had this plan, and they went into her the judge's quarters, whatever the hell you call that, to have this meeting, and in walks multiple police officers, and you want to talk about intimidation factor, and they sat down in the courtroom. They come out, and she says, well, due to unforeseen circumstances, Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Rosie are going to be recusing themselves as the defense team for Mr. Allen. And we were all like, what? And then she goes to Facebook, which I'm glad she did with the one attorney because he ended up being helpful, in my opinion. I can't think of his name, but these were both the two attorneys that she brought on board were friends of hers. Okay. On Facebook, you can see it on there. It's crazy. Anyway, and she appoints them as his defense team. These are people she was friends with, people she knew, you guys. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it in my life. But she basically blackmailed them and said, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. And she related back to a situation where there was a leak done, which again is another whole crazy story. A leak came out of the photographs of the crime scene photos of the girls. And in that situation, somebody involved in that took their own life as well. So that's another person that died in this case that didn't have to.
Oh my God, dude!
I swear to God, I swear to God.
This case?
Real.
William Labrado, that was him. Okay, and the other attorney was Scremin. Thank you, redacted. Anyway, yeah, this happened. There was a leak that came out of the crime scene photos of Abby and Libby. It was horrifying, and the middleman, I'll call him that. The middleman took his own life at the end of the situation. It was horrifying, unbelievable. I've never seen this in my life. So,
I mean, this kind of level of corruption, when you have a judge that looks like they're corrupt and the whole system's corrupt, what is the likelihood? I mean, even if we get an overturned conviction, one, in his case, his mind may be broken forever. That he may never ever be the human being that he was. So there'll be no justice for Richard Allen. The only justice, therefore, in my mind, is if the judge, if they did something improper, goes to jail. If the prosecutors who did something improper went to jail. If the detectives who did something improper went to jail. But that almost never happens. Like the actual people in charge of the wrongful conviction almost never have to pay the consequence. The only thing that ever happens usually is the person who was wrongly confused or convicted gets a, hey, we're sorry, and let you out. And they get a little tiny check for, hey, we ruined your life, but here's some money. Almost never do you see the people who did the railroading and ruining people's lives get held accountable. That's what scares me about this case, is Richard Allen may be screwed for the rest of his life. Will anybody be held accountable for this?
There's another case, Lee, real quick. I throw this in. I just don't know if you knew this, but I've covered this very deeply as well. I have a passion for this one, where 4 little girls lost their life in a house fire that I will bet everything I own that is absolutely 100% linked to the Delphi case. Wow. In the same aspect, to the point that it's called Flora, Indiana. Okay. It's very close to Delphi, but yeah. And one of the people's names that you mentioned earlier on lived 8 houses down from the house that burnt down.
Dago, I don't know if you know, but my wife and I have tickets booked. We're going to Delphi, Indiana very soon. So if you've got some information that might be good, I'm putting boots on the ground. I'd love to hear some stuff about Flora as well. Maybe we'll take a little side trip and go. We're going to be out there very soon. So
I will absolutely. If you're on the ground, I'll stream you live while you're there, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I did kick another person out one. Another person said you're a liar, you're not LAPD, so I kicked their ass out too. Like, we'll do this all day. I'll do this all day.
Grow up, people.
That shit. Good Lord. All right, we won't rant about it. I've already done enough ranting, but I'll kick you out all day long if you keep doing that crap. Anyways, that case is crazy. The Idaho 4 case is crazy. Now we have 2 cases that are just monstrous cases as far as what looks like really shitty trials by corrupt judges. It looks like, again, I have to be careful because, accusing people of being a corrupt judge is sketchy, but how else does it looks like? If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's kind of probably a duck.
That's it, the duck. Yes, sir.
So,
that's what I asked you the other day. I said, is this becoming the norm now? I mean, are we going to go back to being black and white, cut and dry cases, or are we going to have to deal with this kind of shit from here forward?
And I think what you just said is the crux of what my channel is about, right? I have come to believe that we have a systemic problem in our country with the way that we do trials and policing and stuff like that. And I think we need some overhaul or reform. We need some judicial reform in this country. And granted, it's not going to happen overnight, but squeaky people who are intelligent and can tell people where the problems are, maybe we can say, look, we need some fucking reform in this country. Yeah. Our judicial system is broken. The way that we do things, the way we get such high level of convictions by overcharging people and pleading out 99% of all the stuff so that it doesn't go to trial and it ends up in a plea deal probably is a problem for a country that believes in the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. I don't even understand how we can have those 2 statements. You're going to tell people you presume people are innocent and then convict most people and get plea deals on the way out? Like, it's ridiculous.
I think they need to have a committee hearing or something like that, a Senate hearing on pulling down the Constitution and going over it again to remind the world what the hell it's about. You know what I'm saying? Because they seem to forgot what the fuck it is.
Yes,
what it is.
A problem with the media too. So
all bad.
We've lost the art, and that's why I'm part of this channel. I fully support, what Lee is trying to do and his boots on the ground. And he brings his wife or whoever goes with him. The investigative journalism part that we're actually missing that. It's sort of like a lost art, and
it's gone.
Maybe Lee and you guys are able to bring it back because I don't see the investigative journalism from, people have, you're always going to have different tastes and certain people you like, and maybe you don't like how they talk or whatever. I fail to see the investigative journalism in Nancy Grace, Brian Etten, and whatever, Banfield, whatever her name is. Yeah, they don't investigate anything. They're giving talking points, and I mean,
it's a TV show.
I almost fell off my chair when I'm pretty sure it was Brian Enton said that it was. I know it's like over a year ago now, where he was saying this whole big thing where Kohlberger may be some kind of master dog trainer, and when they let Murphy out in the yard, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, he was stalking the girl, he was stalking the house, and every time, so that when he went in,
he's giving a doggy
treats. That's why there's no barking, and when he first goes in, there's no Murphy doesn't bark because he knew him. I was like, how does he come up with this nonsense?
Anything that it's they have writers. It's a TV fucking show anymore. It's not news anymore.
Yeah. I yelled at mainstream media. I gave myself a headache. I was yelling at the screen so much during my rant on the Richard Allen thing when I said, as an example, during the trial of Ben Fields, a deputy in Kentucky, for allegations of sexually abusing women and forcing them into sex in exchange for getting off their ankle monitors, one of the girls who files the lawsuit against him just dies.
Yep.
And literally mainstream media won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. They won't even ask the question, how did she die? And I called them out. I'm like, you fucking cowards. Like, how the fuck are you not asking, how did she die? Ask the question. I can't believe you are so cowardice. You won't even ask the question, how did she die? And then tell America, hey, by the way, don't worry about it. She died in a car accident that clearly had no signs of foul play. Just tell us. But they won't, because they're cowards. They don't even attempt to look into the truth.
They won't even look off script one. And it's not you're right, one. It is not investigative reporting. Right. Kathy's Indie Zone said this one time on her live. She said that she considered us, like Lee and myself and all these creators, to be independent reporters. Okay.
Right.
She calls us independent reporters and investigators, which is what we do. Are going to start solving more cases than law enforcement does, and or any kind of true investigative reporters, because they don't do it anymore. This is what we do full-heartedly, and I'm proud to say that that's 100% why I'm here. And we'll see, because they're now, if you haven't noticed, these scum, I call it, mainstream media channels have gone as far as to try to jump on board with us to be able to run. Skeletor has started her own channel now. I'm sorry, Ashley Banfield. I forget I'm not on my channel. Ashley Banfield has started her own channel now. Brian Enton has his own channel now. Normally, I would call them out by names because I can't stand them. Nancy Disgrace, she has her channel. All of these, Anjanette Levy, Vinny, all of them have started YouTube channels now instead of the other channel.
Yeah,
they know that they have to compete with us now, and that's what their home bases are telling them to do.
And you know, the bigger problem I have with them too. I mean, I know whatever they get their talking points or whatever they want to go with, and they have the backing of a lot of money and people interviewing people, and they can get boots on the ground, and they have all this stuff. What annoys me is that when they, so for instance, like Nancy, comes out and she'll say a whole thing like, oh, can you believe Brian Kohlberger? He cleaned his car with bleach back in Pennsylvania, all stuff. But then let's say like, okay, like 2 weeks later, we know that it's factually, 100% false. There's no evidence of bleach, nothing. Where is she coming forward? Where is she saying,
they're not.
I have to actually, I mean that to me would bring the integrity back to some of the news, and that's one of the one of the big issues I have. They cannot, even when they get something completely 1,000% wrong, they will not come on and say, I have to clear something up. By the way, when I said this, we were actually wrong. They'll never do it.
Right?
They're never do it. The one they're doing it on purpose. They will never.
I know.
I mean, the lead investigators and the prosecutor said that's not true. There was there was just like and he's putting his garbage in the neighbor's garbage can. Guess what?
That wasn't true either.
That's not true. All of it, and they're just like, oh well, it's okay, and they'll just keep on doing their thing because that's where their ratings come from. It's a joke.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't want to interrupt you guys. We've gotten several people doing some things I didn't shout out. Jeremy Pearson giving 6 memberships. It looks like member for 6 months. Sorry, but we had the donation of $20 from Ange K. And by the way, Ange, you brought up my number one fear about talking about Richard Allen, and I talked about this backstage with Robin, but I don't maybe and one, but I don't remember if I said it when we got going. Did I tell the audience? Do you guys remember if it was just a backstage conversation, or did I tell the audience about the person who told me I should shut up about Richard Allen's case because I'll never be good at this case? That was
backstage.
I think it was backstage.
So I had this person give me a thing, and it started out really nice and really, where long post, and it was like, hey, thanks so much for what you do, kind of thing. Let me give you a little constructive criticism. You should really stop talking about Richard Allen. You will never be good at this case. You'll never be as good as the people who've been doing this already. I recommend highly that you stop talking about it and you go watch this other user's channel. In fact, you would be better off if you clip her commentary and play it on your channel, because you'll never be even remotely as good at her of talking about their channel. And I'm like, this is part of the reason why I was afraid to talk about Richard Allen in the first place, is the people are going to be like, dude, you're way too late to this case. You don't know enough about it to open your mouth about it.
Oh.
But I went ahead and did it anyways.
I got your back.
I did the appeal. But yeah, they got to me with the whole, like, you should shut up. You don't know this case well enough to talk. Shut the fuck up and let the real people talk about the case. So
I got your back. I promise you. We have enough to talk about. I promise you we do.
I'm excited that you've been on it the whole time, because you've already told me shocking details that if I had known, if I'd been covering the case when a person got shot in the case and somebody else ends up mysteriously dead, me, I'd be ranting my fucking ass off going, are you kidding me?
As I did. Yes. I blew up over, and believe me, there's a couple of times I almost could have stroked out on screen. I was flipping out so bad over this shit. It was that bad. And I'm like, and you still convicted him. What the fuck is going on with the world when I see this again? It's like, no, not no, but hell no. Okay. I mean, it's bad,
my God.
Guys. So yeah, I got your back on this one.
We are such kindred spirits. And I think a lot of us on this channel, the ones that stick with this channel loyal, are just like us. They're like, like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, we're looking around. Like, am I the only one who gives a shit about law and order and all this shit? Like, what's going on?
It's bad. It is bad, guys. It's horrible. And I appreciate every one of you guys in here that is supporting my channel as well as Lee's channel, and seeing the unseen or absolute unbelievable bullshit that goes on with these cases is all I'm saying. So
yeah, and Amanda B hit it right on the head. Nobody does their own research. They don't. I was arguing in our Facebook group over the Devil's Advocates Facebook group with this dude, and he's like telling me Brian Kohlberger is guilty and DA's just a fiction, whatever, and I'm like, obviously you have not research the case on your own at all. You're just listening to Gray Pubes or whoever it is you're watching. What? Yeah.
And I wanted to highlight that comment real quick. It looks like you took it back down from. I wanted to highlight that, because this is what I do agree. Like, they were talking about, another YouTuber, Shadow Ghost, I think it is.
Yes.
Talking about how they're coming to the Idaho 4 case late, only coming to it after the plea deal, looking at it with fresh eyes. And so this is what I'm saying. Like, on the one hand, why part of me was like embarrassed to even talk about a case that I didn't follow all this time, and I'm coming in after the case is over, so to speak, right? But yet, sometimes having fresh eyes on the case, like with Dago, like, I'm going to start asking questions that maybe even Dago hadn't thought about years ago. And he'd be like, oh, wow, you know what? I think I know what you're talking about. And I never thought, like, somebody with fresh eyes can look at something that I'll guarantee you there's things we're missing on the Idaho 4 case still. And we've been doing it for a long time, right? So I think having fresh eyes on the case, we shouldn't be mocking and ridiculing the people who are coming into it late. They have good opinions, and they are seeing things that maybe we all missed, because all of us get blinders at a point. All of us get
forgot. I've seen that. I'm grateful for it. I agree. The custody queens came into Idaho 4 later than a lot did, and they caught up, but they came in later. And I've had them on my show already talking, and I love the way they look at it. I absolutely appreciate everything they do with that. So great. That's absolutely the best thing that you can say. Fresh eyes of something that we could have missed. I've gone back to the beginning on the Idaho 4 case probably 5 times, guys. Okay. And there's still things every time I go back that I find that are different or new or that have changed, so absolutely 100%, Lee. I agree with that.
And Rochelle's this comment pinned by Rochelle is a good one. And I'm going to try to not be rude when I say this, but I'm talking to myself when I say this. I have to learn that when people come at me and tell me I'm an idiot and they don't know the basics of the case, like I don't know who Hitler is or I don't know who Molly is, I have to realize, why do I give zero fucks what someone's opinion is about the case if they don't even know the basics of the case? And I'm going to let them make me feel a certain way about myself, that I'm an idiot or maybe questioning myself when I literally know the case so much better than they will ever know it. Like, why do I do that? Why would I? But yet I do. I mean, I'm a person who takes it personally sometimes when people attack me and call me an idiot, but I'm like, I have to remind myself, why am I letting people who literally don't know the fucking case tell me that I'm the idiot? And take it all serious.
Right. There's people that have come into my channel, just so you feel better about this, that have literally watched Guilter channels one time. They'll come in and argue a point with me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You have no idea what you just said. And I've been here for 4 years, and you're going to tell me this? Because nope, bye, have a good day. So yeah.
It's hard as a people pleaser not to take those criticisms. I'm getting better at it. YouTube makes you a stronger person.
Yeah.
Just Star 864 donated to the channel, a new subscriber, absolutely loves the content. Thank you so much. I think these panel discussions that we have add so much value. I do a lot of long form content. I break down legal documents and I get on rants and I burst blood vessels in my head because I get shouty. However, this panel is a lot of brain trust, and we're missing a couple of good pieces. We got other brains in this panel that provide great perspective. So thank you so much for enjoying the show and becoming a subscriber and donating money as well. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
As I said in the beginning, it's it's easy. It's very easy to follow the narrative. Sometimes it's a little harder to question the narrative. There's nothing wrong with questioning and checking on receipts, even if they say like, oh, for instance, well, that's Brian Kohlberger's car. They said it's his car. The FBI specialist said it's his car.
They can't be wrong.
It's guess what, guys? It's wrong. It's not correct. So,
absolutely. And I think at this point, if you don't question the narrative now, that's a problem. Okay, you can't, just because the police say somebody did something wrong, and I'm sure one will agree with this. Okay, just because a police officer says he did it, that doesn't mean it's true, folks. Just because they're wearing a badge does not mean that that's what it is. And a lot of people look at it that way because they don't want to buck the system. They don't want to challenge a situation. They don't want to just say, hey, could it be this instead? Because they're afraid of consequence, or afraid of change, or afraid of anything different other than what they're used to. So
unless it's me. But.
On the one hand, I have to ask you, by the way, thanks for the new member. We got a new member. So that person not only became a new subscriber and donated money, became a new member as well. So super awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. One of the things I got to say, though, is somebody pointed out to me, mainstream media. So how do I say this? I tried. It's funny, Diego and I both just did the stroking of the beard thing. Yeah. Yeah, you can go ahead and do everything. Yeah, go ahead and rub the beard you don't have. Anyways, it's funny because somebody pointed out that really mainstream media at the end of the day is doing the same thing that YouTubers are always accused of, which is they are worried about the algorithm. They're worried about their audience, right? Yes. So one could argue, if mainstream's audience is the type of people who love to hear the bad guys are always guilty, whoever's been accused of it is guilty, and that's what their audience is, are they not just giving their audience exactly what their audience wants to hear? They're feeding their algorithm. Their people, the people who watch mainstream media, always believe the accused are guilty, and that's what they want to hear. And so maybe that's what they give them. You want to hear it. We're just giving you what you want to hear. You want to hear us present why the guy that they picked for the crime is the person every single time, because that's what you want to hear.
The problem with you're right. The problem with that is when you have every single one, and this is my opinion, of course, but when you have every single one of those same people, Nancy Grace, I'll be nice, Ashley Banfield, Vinnie Politan, Jeanette Levy, every single one of them, and Frodo, or I mean, what is his name? Brian Enton.
Yeah.
Every one of them belongs to a network, okay? But every single one of them has gone and started a YouTube channel, which in turn would give them the ability to speak their mind and be honest with themselves. They still don't do it. There's the problem.
Right. Yeah. Right. So here's a question. Somebody, JP, I won't do the, anyways, what about Matt Moe? Do you guys have feelings about Matt Moe and his alibi and things like that? I mean, yeah. Because I always ask them, why are we not talking about Matt Moe's alibi?
He's from 1260 Volenta.
Yeah, he lives in the backyard.
Right up in
Kind
the
of the
with
back side
dog,
of the
yeah.
house, right?
He's the
Yeah.
one that apparently woke up at exactly 4:17, but we don't really have. And I believe it was Officer Vargas, female,
Yes.
that
Mhm.
interviewed him
Yep.
and really took a bunch of horrible notes.
Very bad.
It really isn't a follow up as to they have a motion light. How does he know that how does he know that the light came on? Did he go up to the window? Did he, there really is like a lackluster of info there,
And let me try to address, I guess, the question that was being asked is why do we not spend more time talking about it? And I'll answer it from my perspective. I did a video one time on Idaho 4 of the top 27 theories in Idaho 4 and how I ranked them. And there was more than 27. I just picked 27 that had some kind of teeth to it and said, okay, what about the frat parties did it? What if it was, the drug angle that did it? What if it was the ex-boyfriend that did it? What if it was Brent Kopacka who just lost his mind on a PTSD bender did it? And I went through 27 different things. And there was more that I left out. Where I'm going with the why didn't you look into Matt Moy or whatever, one of the things that I do is I use gut instinct. And so nothing has given me the gut instinct that there's much there, which is why I haven't pulled that thread. Right. I could be pulling threads all day long on all kinds of theories. There's theories out there that are, it's an occult ritual and it's a this or that. And like, there's, space aliens came down and did it, nobody actually died. It was a witness extraction thing, whatever. Like there's a million of them and I don't have time. So I have to ask myself, what's most likely the story here? And those are the ones I spend time on. And so the reason why I don't pull threads on some of the cases, some of the angles that some of you are interested in is because I haven't felt compelled. That doesn't mean I won't. I haven't felt compelled that there's enough to pique my curiosity to say, oh, maybe you're right. So if you've got somebody you think I'm 100% missing, I'm not blind to it. What I need you to help me with is give me that piece that goes, oh, maybe I did miss something here. Because if it's just a matter of, like, for example, if it's just a matter of the guys behind the house had complained about noise complaints at the house, to me, in my mind, that's not, I'm going to go slaughter a bunch of bitches because they won't shut up at middle of the night. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I just don't take that serious as a real, like, it's not likely the guy who's just pissed off that you kept up at night decided, I had enough of your shit. I'm going to go kill a bunch of you and leave some of you behind. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So I didn't pull the thread. No. Now, if you give me more, there's a long-standing fight between him and somebody, or that's a different story.
The only thing that I think with that, really, with the Moye and Simon and that house behind, I think it gives more relevance of Murphy and what dog. It's not proof what dog was barking, right? And again, like we've talked about it before, but just to reiterate real quick. If this house across the street, if they're calling about a noise complaint at 8:30 in the afternoon at night, right, for 11:22, and this guy, I think we said Matt, but whatever, chippa, whatever, said it was actually Simon. So Simon, yeah. So I get, so Simon woke up exactly at 4:17, I guess, right. And
probably woke up to the sound of dogs barking,
right? And this dog is and the dog is barking, right, for whatever it is, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I don't know.
45 minutes,
45 minutes.
Yeah.
So this is a house that made a noise complaint at 8:30 at night previously for the house, whatever, behind them, in front of them. And you're gonna tell me they're not gonna call 911, they're not gonna make a noise complaint about a dog barking really loud for 45 minutes at 4:17 in the morning.
Same thing.
So to me, what does that mean? I don't know 100%, but to me, and then you watch the camera and it does look like around, you can see it looks like there's a car that goes up there around 1260 Volenta, and the dog, you kind of hear two dogs barking at a certain point. You also see a car that it looks like someone leaving, and the car leaves around it's like 4:52 or 4:53 when all of a sudden the dog stops barking. It really makes me believe that the dogs barking are from 1260 Volenta. Now it's not 100% proof, but again, are you going to call the police and call 911 on yourself? No. Right. If it's his dog barking. But as Lee said previously, there are you have to really look at the details, though. You got to look at the facts. What are you really saying there? Is I have a dog. He goes, I take him out in the backyard. This is for, if you're going to say, oh, it's 4:00 in the morning. Okay. So someone, and this was what, 11:13, I believe it was, right. There's snow outside. It's cold. So if you're going to say, oh, someone let the dogs out to go to the bathroom, they just left them outside. Like so that's a little strange. You have to look at the devil's advocate of that too. Like what would it, why just going to leave the dogs outside barking? Right. Someone's going to call 911 on them. Like why are their dogs outside? Right. That's almost it's almost like cruel and unusual punishment to the animal.
And my ADD brain cannot handle the softballs that you're serving up to me. And so I have to ask, who let the dogs out?
Who
let the dogs out?
I can't handle it anymore. I'm gonna have to call my mother tomorrow. I'm gonna ask her if she's positive about who my father is and who if I wasn't adopted or something. Because I swear to God, we have the same exact damn brain. I'm telling you, that's the third thing tonight that has been identical in my mind. I'm telling you.
With the who let the dogs out, you're like,
yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was getting ready to do it when you said that.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's hilarious.
That is nuts.
Well, hey, I want to go ahead and start getting ready to wrap up. We, we're about 15 minutes away from a couple of hours. I want to ask everyone on the panel to have a chance to say maybe something that you wish we would have talked about, maybe a topic that happened. We still have some time to talk about it. Robin, do you have anything on your mind that you want us to talk about in the last 15 minutes or so here?
Well, geez, Mike.
do you need a pause while I go to one and ask him the same question?
Yeah. Do that. There was something earlier. Now it went out of my head.
Is there anything one that you can think of that we want to talk a minute about, or just close out, or how are you feeling about things?
Well, I mean, no, I mean we talked about the door, the bathroom door there.
Yeah.
I do think
we didn't.
I think it's a little. It is a little. I'm just bringing it up there. I'm not saying I know 1,000%. It's just to question your mind. We hear the thumps. We hear all that. And what was it? Who was it that had their father that came? Was it Xana's
dad, Jeff?
Xana was there a week or two before, looking at door locks and stuff and whatever. So, if you're gonna say there was an issue with the door, why wouldn't he have looked at that as well? Looked at that. And it's just another little turn. Seems every day another picture, another something that pops up. It's just to bring into your mind.
It is an interesting. We didn't spend a lot of time on it, but if that doorknob was busted off and someone kicked the door open, again, it leads to what really happened in that house that night, because nobody died in the bathroom, we believe, right? So if somebody was awake and barricaded themselves in the bathroom and somebody kicked the door open to get to them, it changes the whole narrative on how you can kill 4 people in 8 minutes on 2 floors who were all drunk and passed out and sleeping, but it's all bullshit. And now there's a struggle and people are running around, they're screaming for their lives, they're maybe hiding behind doors. Like, at what point does it become ridiculous if that happened?
That's a good point. That's what I was going to say to you. One is also the photograph of the front door. Did you look at the photographs of the front door?
I have to assume again.
The one that was supposed to be wide open all day.
Yeah. So that door, you can tell that somebody took the deadbolt out, put a plug in it, and sealed it across, and they left that electronic punch code thing in, which I went and found that you can find an override code online for those to override that code if you want to. After they took the deadbolt out, you could take a credit card and open that door, you guys. So
yeah.
What is going on with this house and their doors and this and that door thing? It definitely looks like it was kicked in with that door frame, but I just wanted to when you said door, it sparks that again with my ADHD fan.
I was also curious, one, if you can tell us why you keep lying about being NYPD. Would you mind to that? Yeah, somebody said in here they haven't heard Dylan's Pretty Much song. You know, I'm gonna fucking play us out tonight with that one. It's been a while since we've done it, so I will play it.
Yeah, it is.
Have you heard mine?
No, I haven't. You got a good one?
I do have a pretty decent one.
We'll have to do that. Do you have it where you can queue it up as an asset on here? We can play it before the Pretty Much, maybe.
I think I can. Hold on, let me look real fast.
So, Robin, did you find something to talk about before while he's queuing that song up for us, if you can find it?
Well, earlier I was just going to say, as far as Hitler goes, you know, holding Ashley Jennings' hand when she was talking about the cell phone towers, saying, you know, there's and Taylor thought there was only two, and she's like, oh, you know, there's three, and the judge is like, what? Do they know this? Well, you know, and it's like the judge is like, you know, you're just. It's ridiculous how much he held their hands and was protecting them.
It is. This is the case that never goes away. Like, there's so many unanswered questions still. Somebody in here hadn't. Somebody said they liked the Murphy Dog song as well. We've got several songs. Cat Farm has done some amazing AI generated songs. That is and by the way, it's a collaboration, right? You got to kind of dial it in on that as well to get the right lyrics and whatever. It's a brilliant piece put together. So it looks like you got it queued up. There you go, right? You got it queued up in the background.
I do, and just so you guys know, I do tons of these songs. I have a bunch of these. If you guys ever listen, this is just one of them. I have a few, but I'll let you hear this one if you guys are interested. All
right. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'm gonna caveat the two songs that you're gonna hear. One of which I have never heard before, so I've never heard Dago's version of this song. And is it about Dylan as well? Or?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay. So let me caveat this for you. I 100% understand that some of you will feel this is an extremely bad taste. I understand that some of you feel that Dylan is a innocent person whose life has been ruined by this, and everybody needs to leave this poor woman alone, that she's done nothing wrong and she's been treated like shit. And I get that. I understand that that's out there. You have to understand, from our perspective, we have seen what we believe are lies and manipulation in the story coming from both Dylan and Bethany. The grand jury even believed the girl's story was wrong and that they potentially should be investigated and maybe even have jail time, as we heard from an insider who talked to one of the grand jurors. So there's reasons to question the story about what pretty much happened at 4 a.m. And so our song that we're going to finish after Dago's is called Pretty Much, and it's a parody on Dylan saying it pretty much happened at 4 a.m. I don't know what's in Dago's song. We're going to play that first. I'm going to mute all of our. Well, should I mute the panelists, or do you want to be able to have laughs and chuckles along with the song? What are we doing? Maybe I'll leave us on the side so we can communicate with people. Again, we'll play two songs in a row. I've never heard Dago's song, so I can't speak to anything that might be offensive in it because I haven't heard it before. Mine will be offensive. I will tell you there are things that are going to be highly offensive in it. So if you don't like that kind of humor, check out now and stay with us on the cool stuff, which is all the presumption of innocence and the fight, whatever. This is one of those stress relievers. This is one of those moments to just kind of have a good time. On the way out.
Decompress. Yes.
Yeah, decompress. So let's put this up on stage. And I think, do you have to hit the play, or can I hit the play? I can't remember.
I have to do it over here.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Go for it.
Pretty much at 4 a.m. brings a busted circuit. Bethany said I'm dumb, but I ain't one to word it. She the funk, I'm the liar. Tangled in her pyre. Super nice people, dust clouds when I fire. Don't know what happened, dream disguise. Could have been a movie script in my eyes. Pretty much that's all I can muster. Watch the gears grind, my head's a fluster. Bethany's gospel says I should be crying, but maybe I'm dreaming, or maybe I'm lying.
Catchy.
Clock tick-tocks heavy like my boots on gravel. Thoughts unravel, demons dance and I travel. She a preacher of pain, I'm the choir of blame. Burn bridges like my nights, no two flames the same. 4 a.m. truths a whisper in the haze. Dreamt or lied, can't tell in this maze. Pretty much that's all I can muster. Watch your gears grind, my head's a fluster. Bethany's gospel says I should be crying, but maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe I'm lying.
Maybe. That is beautiful stuff. That's beautiful. It's
Funny.
God bless AI. AI has done some great things. AI is super fun if you know how to use it. Our last thing before saying goodnight tonight, we're going to play Pretty Much, made by Cat Farm on our show. One of the best songs as well that we've heard. She's done a really good one on Murphy as well. Love that added part to kind of lighten the mood after much deep topics. These are very deep things. As you can tell from Robin to 1-1 to Dago and myself, we are super passionate and pissed off when mainstream narrative sells bullshit to the public and sheeple buy the shit by the gallon. We will be here to fight for truth and justice and a fair and equitable trial. And look for those appeals to show you how wrongful convictions happen in America. It's a passion of mine. It looks like it's a passion of everyone on this channel, including law enforcement, who, as I said before, even good cops don't like bad cops. So again, I don't bust this guy's nuts. He's out there fighting the good fight. By the way, as one thing I say, one more thing about him, he's the kind of guy who says you can call him a pig, you can call him whatever you want, you can insult him, and he will still defend your rights and protect you when it comes time. So show some fucking respect for our law enforcement.
Amen.
Have a great night. And now let's lighten the mood with Pretty Much from Dylan.
Is it real or just a dream? Can I tell you what I've seen? Pretty much at 4 a.m. a man appeared in front of me. I don't recall a single thing. I'm so lost inside my mind. No one answers when I ring. Was it real or just a lie? Can I tell you what happened? Pretty much at 4 a.m. something happened. Pretty much, I don't know what happened. Pretty much, everyone is super nice.
Super nice.
My friends were home, but I'm not sure. I went straight past and left her there. When I saw her lying on the floor, I ran away, but I wasn't scared. I don't recall a single thing. I'm so lost inside my mind. No one answers when I ring. Was it real or just a lie? Can I tell you what happened? Pretty much at 4 a.m. something happened. Pretty much, I don't know what happened. Pretty much, everyone is super nice. No one's answering. I'm really confused. I'm not remembering. Please, may I be excused? It wasn't like anything was wrong. I don't know if this is real or not. She danced with the dog and sang a song. What happened? I don't know. I forgot. I don't recall a single thing. I'm so lost inside my mind. No one answers when I ring. Was it real or just a lie? Can I tell you what happened? Pretty much at 4 a.m. something happened. Pretty much, I don't know what happened. Pretty much, everyone is super nice. I don't remember at all.
Night, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Have a good night, everybody. God bless.
Yeah.